Alright, hi, I'm back, and so this time we're going to do some slightly more complex modeling. We're going to use these four images to kind of get ourselves started on this model. So I won't be able to use the same exact technique of just tracing out my model as I did last time, using the drawings, because none of these are kind of looking straight on enough. I might be able to use this, but I think what I'll do is I'll just bring this image in as a kind of reference. So here we go. So again, as for last time, I've already opened my template, and now I'm going to go Insert from my computer, and I'm going to use this image here, and you're going to use it as an image. And we're going to plonk this down here, give it a reasonable size, like that, and then so that we can kind of see it, we'll just turn it right way up. So click here once, twice, and then in the up direction, and then click one last time. There we go. Right, so there's my image. That's what I need to kind of work on. Now, some things I'm going to do this time is, oh, I see, these are not all components. That's unfortunate. I think what I might do is I'm just going to move this. So this is a slightly more advanced tutorial. So we're going to do a few kind of extra things here, right? So one of them is I'm going to select everything. So by going Control A, select everything, and then I'm going to deselect my image here. Wait, let's see. Can I do that? No. Oh, that was bad. So Control A, and then there we go. Deselect my. Oh, wow, that really doesn't work. Okay, that's fine. I'll just select it by using a window selection like this. And I'm going to take all of that, I'm going to make all of that into one component. Make component, and we're going to call this background for some reason. And then to make our lives easier for now, I'm just going to make this all go away. So I'm going to hide all that stuff. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over to, first of all, to the origin, and then in the right direction over here somewhere, so that I can kind of refer to it. Oh, I see, there's a copy there for some reason. Right. So we're going to start making this object. So again, I'm going to make up most of the dimensions here because I'm not really sure what they are here. But in this version, I'm actually going to properly intersect these objects here. So I'm going to make this the height of the whole thing, let's say 2.2 meters to the underside here, and I'm going to make all of the walls 200 mils thick. So let's start with that. So I'm going to go to my scene view, and I'm going to go to this kind of straight on view, and go look here. Right, so now I can start making some stuff. So first of all, first wall. So it's going to be 200 mils by, so comma 2200. Right, and there's my first wall. It's looking quite thick. Okay, undo that. Let's make it again. This time, oh, not from the center. That's interesting. That's better. So let's say 150 by 2200. There we go. That looks a bit more realistic. Good. So now I've got that part. I'm going to do all of my 2D stuff first. No, I'm not. I'm going to extrude that wall out using the push-pull tool, and that's 5 meters. That's way too much. Let's do 2.5 meters or 2500 mils as a place to start, and then triple click on it, make it a component, This time I'm not going to name it. Right, so just fine. Okay, so now there's a thing sticking out of the top of that. That's interesting, so we'll have to deal with that. But for now, let's see. Let's do the oh, there. That's why it's looking different. Let's do this bench part. So I'm going to make it first of all on the ground. Now it sticks through here. So I'm going to say, actually I'm going to just make it first. So it's going to be 150 tall by, I'm going to say, that's kind of the right sort of length. So I'm going to say 4,200 millimeters by, again, 150. So there we go. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it up. Notice that I just have to select the surface on the inside. I don't have to select the whole thing because the surface will bring all of its edges with it. So I'm going to click here on this corner. It's going to click once. Now the height that I want for this is 500 meters. So the top of this should be 500 meters. Now it started at 150 mils, right? So what do I have to add to that? I seem to think that that's 350. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. Yes. Yep. Okay. Good. So pretty happy with that. And then I'll just extrude this out. Now these are not in the right place at the moment because I think this bench actually sits in a little bit. I'll make this 500. But that's okay because I'm going to make them all into components so that we can move them at will. So again, triple click on it, make component, okay. So there's my bench. Now there's this back wall here. So that's the same height, presumably, as this one here. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a component. Isn't that worth doing? Yes, sure. I think that might be interesting. Maybe I'll duplicate this component. So we haven't done this part yet, so I'm going to use the move tool and I'm going to just click on some part of this wall. I'm just going to click, let's say, on this bottom corner, click here, and now I'm moving it. Right, when I hit the control key, a copy of it gets left behind and I'm now dealing with a copy of it. So I'm going to move it to, let's say, here, and then I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. So again, just want to choose one point and then I'm going to use the up arrow key to make it, force it to go into the top, into the blue kind of rotation or orientation, and then turn it by 90 degrees. And so there we go. Right, so now I can move it. Now I want to move it so that it's exactly in the right kind of place for me. So let's see. Obviously, if I had dimensions for this from my sketching, then this would be easier. I'm kind of making things up as I go along. So I want to make sure I'm going to go in the green direction first, so I know where I'm going, and then in the red direction. So rather than trying to move it in 3 dimensions at the same time, oh, and I want to line this up. Looks like in the model here, yeah, this lines up with this edge here. So I'm going to take this corner here, get the move tool working, and then I'm going to constrain it in this red direction. So I'm going to hit the right arrow key. So now I can only go in that direction no matter where I put my cursor. And now I can line that up with this here, like that. And so I think that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move the bench so that it intersects, or that it sits up against this wall. So I'm going to take this corner here, make sure that I'm selecting the right piece. So there we go, and I'm going to move it. This time I want to move it in the green direction, so I'm going to hit the left arrow key, and then I'm just going to snap over onto there. So that is looking pretty good. Interestingly, this needs to come through, but that means that these two pieces need to come together. So I'm going to select both of them. Notice how selection works in SketchUp. So for example, if I wanted to select this wall, I could make a marquee selection or a rectangle selection around, and it only selects this, it won't select the bench because that's the only thing that's completely inside the box. But if I go, that's going from left to right, but if I go from right to left, I select anything that touches the box, and that's some part of it inside of the box. So like this, I'm selecting both of these things at the same time. So I can move this now over. Let's move it over. Let's constrain it first of all in the red direction. How much do I want it to stick out? I reckon 500 seems kind of cool because now you can sit on that other side. That seems pretty good. This gap here is now way too small, isn't it? I wonder. You know what? I'm going to make this smaller. And so I want to show you how to do this in a really interesting way. So I have this component, right? And I've gone into the component. So the way to do that is to just double click on it. And now you're inside of the component, which means you can edit it. I'm going to push this wall back. You can see that it automatically pushes the other wall back as well. I think I'm going to leave it roughly there. So this is, let's make it 870 for some reason, or maybe 880, nice and rounder numbers. 880 mils. Right, there we go. That's looking more realistic. That's good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. There's still a bit of a gap there. I think, yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, cool, this is working out quite well. I think I might move this over slightly. So again, I want to go in the green direction. Use the green arrow key. 150 mils. There we go. That's good. Right, so now I need a roof. So I'm going to go into my top-down view, and I'm going to draw my roof. And let's see, I want to line it up with this, with that corner. Or no, maybe I'll just draw it. Maybe something like that. So what have we got here? 4678 by 2232. So let's see, let's say 4600 by 2300. There we go, that's pretty good. Okay, let's see what we've got. Good, so now notice that that's on the floor. We don't care about that at the moment. So I'm going to make that into a three-dimensional thing, so 150 mils thickness, and triple click on it, make it into a component. We're not using names at the moment, so that's fine. And now we're going to move it up. Now to move it up, remember, we're going to use the move tool. We're going to snap on one corner of it that we know is on the ground. And we're going to move it up. Now we could snap it to there, but we want to make sure that it's going only up. So we're going to use the up arrow key, and then we can snap to that surface there, or that corner there. So this gets a little bit tricky because they're kind of coincident, but let's see if we can come in from here. No. Oh, very annoying. Wow, let's move it up too high and then move it back down again. Goodness, that's very annoying, isn't it? Let's try from here. So we'll just choose a random point that's on the face and use the up arrow key. Now we can do that. So that looks much better, right? Okay, so now we need to create these little protrusions which kind of stick through the roof. Right, that's how I'm reading those. So I'm going to temporarily hide this roof so that I can work on this wall. I'm going to go into one of the walls. I don't need to go into both of them, just into one of them. And I'm going to draw on here 2 lines. So let's say here and I don't know, here. Doesn't really matter where they are so much. Obviously, if you've had dimensions, you would use those. I'm going to project this up some distance. Let's say 500 mils. For now, this might be too much. We'll see. Notice that it's happened to both of them. Right, so now I want to unhide my my selection. Now I can't unhide it because I can't find where it is. So I'm going to go to my display and I'm going to show my hidden objects as dotted lines. Right, so now the whole, all of this stuff now turns up. I want to select this part, and was there something else that I had hidden? No, just the rest of that. So I'll unhide that part, and then I can get rid of my hidden lines again. So there we go. That's looking pretty good. So now I just want to show you very briefly how to create these holes, right? So what we can do is on this surface here, we can draw around there. Now we need to create a hole in this roof. We're going to hide this. Now we're going to push this through. Now notice that this is not doing exactly what I expected it to do, and that's because we drew this rectangle not inside of the component. Now if that happens to you, if you make a mistake and you're not working inside of the component that you're intending to, that's okay. What you can do is you can select the component, or you can select the object that you want to be inside of the component. Go right click and, oh nope, that's not there, so just go Control X to cut it. Then go into the component, and then somewhere we have, I've forgotten where this is. Paste, what we're looking for is paste in place. Now it's in a slightly strange place. I've forgotten where it is. That's very annoying. No, oh, somebody, there is a way to that you can paste this thing in place. I've forgotten where it is. That is very annoying. Let me just pause for a bit and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I'm back. Found it. Right, so right click, and then here we can choose either paste, which is this one here, or paste in place. Right, so when I do paste in place, it will create my object back where I originally had it. And so it's now inside of the component, right? Which means we can now push it through as a whole. Snap it to this corner here, and now we've got a nice hole sticking through. Let's bring our other object back. Let's see. Oh, we can do the same thing over here actually before we bring our other object back. In fact, we can just use a rectangle tool. We don't have to do it all by hand. So corner to corner, like that. We can hide this and then push this through, like that. So now we've got our two holes. We need to bring these walls back. So again, we'll go to our display, show our hidden objects, select the hidden objects that we want to bring back, right click, unhide. And that is looking pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think we might just leave it there. Or last thing, let's put it in place in our scene. So we'll unhide this, our background as well. We'll get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. And now we can move the whole thing. We can, in fact, one of the things that you could do is you could turn the whole your whole model into a component like that. Again, you could use naming, but I'm not going to do that today. Again, when you're moving things, make sure that you move it, or a good practice is to just move it in one direction at a time. so in one cardinal direction at a time. So I might move it to there and then move it over from there to where I exactly want it to be. So something like that maybe. And then maybe I want to angle it onto the same angle as this. So using the rotate tool, on this corner here. Now let's see if it'll recognize that angle. Doesn't really. That's okay. Maybe something like this will be fine. Right, and then to create our scenes from here, let's go back to here. We'll make sure that we're in perspective mode. Maybe go down to a kind of more eye level view. A bit low, but so something like this. And then obviously you might want to put some materials on. Let's do that quickly. Let's see, where's our materials? So materials, that's pretty ugly, but that gives you an idea for how to do the materials. There's a whole lot of materials in here to choose from, and you can adjust them and adapt them, etc. So that's it. All right, hope that was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.